Anyway, so I'll talk first about Jamal al-Din al-Afghani, who is an Iranian Islamic ideologist and advocate of not only pan-Islamic unity, but also Hindu-Muslim unity, which is a very salient thing today because, Hindus and Muslims don't really get so along, which is kind of sad. And it kind of makes sense. Like Hinduism is a very ancient polytheistic religion. Islam is a new monotheistic religion that, like, okay. Oh my god, stop texting me. Stop texting me. Sorry, just let me go for a second. So Jamal al-Din al-Afghani, he was an Islamic reformer who he wrote in this journal called Al-Urwa al-Wuthqa with his homie Muhammad Akhtar, right? And Jamal al-Din al-Afghani, he was sorry. Okay. Jamal al-Din al-Afghani is an Iranian Islamic ideologist and advocate of not only pan-Islamic unity but also Hindu-Muslim unity, which is very salient today because the Hindus and the Muslims don't exactly get along, and kind of makes sense because Hinduism is an ancient polytheistic religion, and Islam is a relatively recent monotheistic religion that kind of acts like it's the primordial religion, which I can kind of see why other religions would get a little bit miffed by that. I just think it's a little interesting to call yourself a primordial religion and also be the newest one. I'm not saying I disagree with it. Muslims can think however they would like to think, but I think it's very valid for other religions to be a little bit like, huh, at that, when they're technically the newest kids on the block in terms of, these timelines and everything, right? But anyway, Jamal al-Din al-Afghani, he was less interested in minor conflicts regarding Islamic jurisprudence, so he wasn't really interested in splitting hairs and shit like that. He's more interested in organizing a united response to Western pressure. He actually helped assassinate Shah Nasser al-Din, who's the fourth Shah of Qajar, Iran, with Mirza Reza Kermani because of the Shah's numerous concessions to foreign powers, especially the British. So he really didn't like that. He also believed in Hindu-Muslim unity to overthrow British rule in India. So clearly, Jamal al-Din al-Afghani, he had a big bone to pick with the British overall. And an Indian Islamic scholar, Hussein Ahmed Madani, he would basically rehash this in his 1938 book, Mutahida Taumat al-Islam, so composite nationalism in Islam. And this guy was actually a descendant of the Prophet Muhammad, because he gone up through 36 generations through his paternal side. So that's quite interesting. That's not the first descendant of the Prophet Muhammad that I'm talking about in this slide. He basically had a modern critique of Western imperialism and, appeal for the unity of Islam, urging, adoption of Western sciences, institutions that would strengthen Islam. So basically taking things from the West and using them to strengthen Islam, which I think is quite interesting. His main struggle in life, according to his homie Muhammad Akhtar, was al-Afghani's wish to decrease British domination of the Eastern nations and to minimize its power over the Muslims. And he had some three really cool principles, right? That European imperialism, having conquered India, now threatens the Middle East, which is true. Asia, including the Middle East, could prevent the onslaught of Western powers only by immediately adopting modern technology like the West. So it's like, all right, well, yeah, if these guys have guns and you have rocks, who's going to win? And that's actually happening in Israel, Palestine today. It's psycho, So this is a very good, obviously, I just blanked out. This is really good advice. If you're going to be going against a foe with modern technology, you kind of need to have modern technology just like logistically, right? All right. So, his third point was Islam, despite its traditionalism, is an effective creed for mobilizing the public against the imperialists, right? And he actually blamed divisions between Muslims on European influence, advocating pan-Muslim unity as a project to revitalize Islam as a cohesive force against the Western world. My notes